Hello, my dear friends. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself lying in bed, dreading the night ahead? Not because of worries, but because you know, almost like clockwork, that you'll be forced to get up not once, not twice, but maybe 3 times to use the bathroom? Each trip feels like a small disruption, I know. But over the years, it becomes a thief. A thief that silently steals your deep, restorative sleep. And I've seen the consequences in my patients, good people just like you. The foggy memory that makes you lose your train of thought. The aching joints that greet you in the morning. And that quiet, unspoken fear of stumbling on your way down a dark hallway. It's a much bigger problem than we think. But what if I told you that for so many of my patients, the solution wasn't a new prescription with a long list of side effects? In fact, doctors are often shocked to learn that a powerful answer could be sitting in your spice cabinet right now. A common, everyday spice that, when used correctly for just 60 seconds, can help you sleep through the night. I'm not talking about a theory from a book. I'm talking about reality. I remember a patient of mine, Arthur, a wonderful 74-year-old grandfather. He sat in my office and told me, with tears in his eyes, that he hadn't slept for more than 3 hours straight in a decade. His exhaustion was straining his relationship with his grandkids. He felt like he was fading. Today, Arthur is a new man, and the change all started with this one simple habit. In this video, we won't just talk about this simple spice. We'll explore exactly why our bodies seem to betray us at night as we age. I'll walk you through the exact 60-second ritual to make this work, and most importantly, I will reveal the common mistakes that cause most natural remedies to fail. And please, be sure to watch until the end. The section on common mistakes contains one tiny detail, something most people do without even thinking, that can completely cancel out all the benefits. Understanding this one thing could be the difference between another restless night and the best sleep you've had in years. For those of you who are new here, my name is Dr. Evans. I've been a family physician for over 30 years, and my passion is helping folks like you navigate the golden years with health, dignity, and joy. The advice I share comes from decades of clinical experience and from listening to thousands of real stories. Before we dive in, I truly want to know how many of us are in this together. If what I just shared feels familiar, please comment a simple yes below. It shows me you understand, and it shows others in our community that they are not alone. Okay, let's get started. Alright, now that we're all here together, let's get to the heart of the matter. We'll start with our first section today. Why we wake up more as we get older. First, let's understand the enemy. Because to solve a problem, you have to know what you're up against. Why does this happen night after night? I want to be very clear about this. It is not your fault. This isn't a sign of weakness or a personal failing. It's a quiet, natural shift happening inside your body, a change that most of us are never taught about. Let's pull back the curtain on this mystery together. Deep inside our brains, there's a clever little hormone called vasopressin. You can think of it as the nighttime manager for your kidneys. When the sun goes down and you get ready for bed, vasopressin is supposed to clock in for its shift. Its job is to send a message to your kidneys, telling them, "Alright, team, slow it down. We need to conserve water and produce less urine while the boss is sleeping." This system works beautifully for most of our lives, allowing us to get that long, uninterrupted stretch of restorative sleep. But here's the crucial part. As we journey past the age of 60, our bodies naturally start to produce less of this hormone. The nighttime manager, well, he gets a little sleepy on the job. Without his clear instructions, the kidneys don't get the memo. They just keep working at their daytime pace, filtering fluids and producing urine all through the night. This is the first fundamental reason why your bladder fills up so much faster now than it did 20 years ago. But that's only half of the story. There's a second shift that happens, and it's right in the bladder itself. As we age, the bladder wall, which is a smooth muscle, can become a bit less elastic and a lot more sensitive. Think of your bladder in your younger years as a sturdy, 16-ounce party balloon. You could fill it up quite a bit before it even started to feel stretched. It would comfortably hold nearly a pint of liquid before sending a calm, polite signal to your brain. But now, imagine that same balloon has become thinner, more delicate. It can only hold about 6 ounces, that's less than a small cup of coffee, before it starts screaming, "Emergency! Time to go, right now." This explains that sudden, overwhelming sense of urgency, that feeling that you have to go immediately, even when you know you haven't had that much to drink. It's not your imagination. Your bladder is simply sending out alarms much, much sooner. This is why the problem becomes so frustrating. It's a 1-2 punch. Your body is making more urine at night, and at the same time, the organ meant to store it has a much smaller capacity and a much shorter fuse. I saw this so clearly with a patient of mine named Barbara, a retired librarian from Minneapolis. She was a meticulous planner. She told me, "Doctor, I stopped drinking all liquids by 7 p.m. I eat a light dinner. I do everything right. But at 1 a.m., and then again at 4 a.m., my body wakes me up. I feel like I'm at war with my own biology." Her story is one I've heard hundreds of times. She was doing her best, but she was unknowingly working against herself with a few small, seemingly harmless habits. Many of us are. We enjoy a bowl of watermelon or a few orange slices after dinner, thinking it's a healthy dessert. And it is, but those fruits are packed with water. Or we sip a warm, comforting cup of herbal tea right before bed, hoping it will help us relax. But that extra fluid has to go somewhere, and it usually decides to make its exit in the middle of the night. These aren't bad habits. They're just poorly timed habits for an aging body. The good news in all of this, the ray of hope I want you to hold on to, is that we can absolutely learn to work with our bodies instead of against them. We can't reverse the aging process, but we can make intelligent, gentle adjustments. We can support our bodies, starting with our evening routines, to give ourselves the best possible chance at a peaceful, uninterrupted night. And that journey begins with understanding the simple, powerful tools that nature has already given us. So, now we understand the challenge our bodies are facing. Let's move on to our second section, the hidden spice secret. Now, the solution I mentioned earlier, the one that helped my patient Arthur reclaim his life. It isn't some exotic, hard-to-find herb from a faraway land. You don't need to spend $50 a bottle on some fancy supplement. In fact, it's a humble, fragrant spice that is very likely sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. It's called cardamom. I know what you might be thinking. Cardamom? The spice I put in my pumpkin bread in the fall? Yes, that's the one. Across America, from cozy kitchens in Ohio to sunny homes in Arizona, we think of it mostly as a baking spice. But in other parts of the world, for thousands of years, it has been revered for its profound medicinal properties. In ancient Indian traditions, it was called the Queen of Spices, not just for its delightful flavor, but for its remarkable ability to bring the body into balance. For centuries, practitioners of traditional medicine knew it had a special, calming gift. They used it to soothe digestion, to cool inflammation, and most importantly for our conversation today, to calm a restless mind. Here's why this ancient wisdom is so critical for us now. As we get older, our nightly restlessness often isn't just a physical issue with the bladder. It's also an emotional one. It's the weight of the day pressing down on us. It's the quiet hum of anxiety about our health, our finances, or our family that seems to get louder in the silence of the bedroom. Our minds race, and our bodies follow suit. This is where cardamom's gentle power comes into play. The natural oils released from this spice have a subtle, calming effect on the nervous system. It doesn't sedate you like a sleeping pill. Instead, it acts like a soft, reassuring voice, telling your body that it is safe, that it is okay to let go and to rest. It helps to quiet that internal chatter, making the transition into sleep feel smoother and more natural. Furthermore, it directly addresses a very common physical symptom that plagues so many seniors: indigestion. That feeling of heaviness, of bloating, or gas after your evening meal is more than just uncomfortable. That internal pressure in your abdomen can physically press against your already sensitive bladder, creating false alarms and increasing the urgency to urinate. Cardamom is a wonderful digestive aid. It helps to reduce gas and bloating, making your stomach feel lighter and removing that physical pressure from your lower body. Let me share a couple of stories with you. I think of Robert, a retired auto worker I know from Michigan. Every fall, his wife bakes the most incredible apple pie, always with a generous dash of cardamom. He'd enjoyed it for 50 years without a second thought. But recently, on my advice, he started a new habit. After dinner, he'd chew on a single cardamom pod. He told me, "Doc, it's the strangest thing. My stomach just feels lighter. I don't feel that heavy, full sensation before bed anymore, and my sleep has been so much calmer." He thought it was just a flavor, but it was really a gentle medicine. Then there's Eleanor, a retired schoolteacher from Savannah, Georgia. Her nights were terribly broken. She started a little ritual of her own. Every evening, she chews 2 little green pods while sitting on her porch, watching the fireflies. She described it beautifully. She said, "It's not a miracle. It's just a softening. My digestion feels smoother, that tightness in my chest seems to fade, and the night just feels more welcoming." These are not dramatic, overnight cures. They are quiet, consistent shifts back toward balance. So, the solution begins with a simple action. Imagine replacing that late-night snack or that extra glass of water with a small, powerful ritual. Just 1 or 2 of these tiny green pods. It's a simple, cost-free first step toward reclaiming your nights. It's about using the simple wisdom that nature has provided, a tool that's been trusted for generations. And now I have a question for you. If you have cardamom in your kitchen right now, but you never once thought to use it in this way, please take a moment and comment the word "surprised" below. I'm truly curious how many of us have had this powerful secret hiding in plain sight all along. Alright, so we've identified this humble spice. Now, let's move into our third section, the science behind it. Because I know what a logical mind might be thinking right now. It sounds a little too simple to be true, doesn't it? Chewing a spice to get a better night's sleep? As a doctor, I value healthy skepticism. So let me take just a few minutes to explain the actual science behind this in a way that makes perfect sense. This isn't folklore. It's fascinating biology. Inside each of those small green cardamom pods are powerful natural compounds with names that might sound complex, like cineol and terpenyl acetate. But you don't need to remember the names. You just need to understand what they do. These essential oils are the workhorses, and they perform 3 critical jobs for our aging bodies at night. Job number 1 is directly related to the bladder. These natural oils act like a gentle off switch for an overactive bladder. Remember how we talked about the bladder muscle becoming sensitive and jumpy, sending false alarms? Well, these compounds are natural muscle relaxants. When you chew the pods and absorb these oils, they travel through your system and help to calm the smooth muscle of the bladder wall. They tell it to stop spasming, to stop squeezing so erratically. This action reduces those sudden, powerful urges that wake you from a deep sleep, allowing the bladder to fill more completely before it sends a signal. This is why the effect isn't just about making you sleepy. It's about directly addressing the physical mechanism that is forcing you out of bed. Job number 2 is calming the nervous system. This is essential. As our bodies age, our nervous systems can become a bit more frayed. We startle more easily, and our minds can get stuck in a loop of worry. This state of low-grade anxiety keeps our bodies in a fight-or-flight mode, even when we're lying in bed. It's impossible to get deep, restorative sleep in that state. The very same oils in cardamom that relax the bladder also have a mild, calming effect on your nerves. Modern science is confirming what ancient healers knew all along. It helps to dim the lights on a racing mind, easing that transition from a state of alertness to a state of rest. This is why so many people, like my patient Eleanor, report feeling not just physically better, but also emotionally calmer. It helps to reduce both the urgent need to go to the bathroom and the anxious, restless feeling that often comes with it. Finally, job number 3 is improving digestion. We touched on this before, but it's scientifically important. Poor digestion late at night creates gas and bloating, which physically crowds and puts pressure on your bladder. It's simple physics. Cardamom is what's known as a carminative, which is a medical term for a substance that helps prevent the formation of gas in the digestive tract. By chewing it after your evening meal, you are proactively helping your body break down food more efficiently. This removes that internal pressure, giving your bladder the space and peace it needs to do its job properly without being constantly agitated by its neighbors. I saw these 3 effects come together perfectly in a patient of mine named Susan, a retired nurse from Florida. She was incredibly frustrated. She told me, "As a nurse, I understand the body. I know what's happening, but I feel powerless to stop it." We started her on the simple ritual of chewing 2 cardamom pods each evening. After about 2 weeks, she came back to my office with a huge smile. She said, "Doctor, it's like someone finally turned down the volume on my bladder. The constant static of urgency is gone." She was finally sleeping for 4 or 5 hours straight. And I think of David, a gentleman from Chicago whose story was so moving. He was exhausted. So utterly exhausted that he'd stopped joining his friends for their morning walks, which was the highlight of his day. The lack of sleep had robbed him of his joy. Once he started using cardamom and it eased his digestion and calmed his system, he began sleeping through the night. He told me the best part wasn't just the sleep itself. It was having the energy to lace up his walking shoes again and meet his buddies at the park. He got his life back. So please, understand this. Cardamom isn't a sleeping pill that knocks you out and leaves you groggy. It's not an artificial fix. It is a gentle, intelligent guide that works on multiple levels. On your muscles, on your nerves, and on your digestion, to help your body remember how to rest naturally. Okay, this next section is incredibly important. Let's talk about section number 4, the 60-second ritual. Because knowing the secret is one thing, but using it correctly is everything. Over the years, I've seen wonderful natural remedies fail for people simply because they weren't taught the small details that make all the difference. The power of this habit is in the precision. It's in the ritual. So I want to walk you through the exact process, step by step, to ensure you get the very best results possible. This isn't complicated, but it does require you to be mindful. First, let's talk about timing. This is crucial. The best time to perform the simple ritual is after you've finished your dinner, ideally about 30 minutes before you plan to head to bed. You don't want to do it immediately after a heavy meal, as its effects might be a bit muted. And you don't want to wait until the moment your head hits the pillow, because you want to give those calming oils a little time to start their work. Think of it as the final peaceful step in your evening routine, right after you've brushed your teeth or tidied up the kitchen. It's a signal to your body that the day is done, and it's time to begin winding down. Next, let's discuss the amount. With natural remedies, it's often tempting to think that more is better. If 1 is good, 3 must be great, right? In this case, the opposite is true. For the vast majority of older adults, the perfect amount is just 1 or 2 whole green cardamom pods. That's it. Using more than that isn't going to give you a better result, and for some people with sensitive stomachs, it might even cause a bit of mild warmth or irritation. The goal here is gentle, consistent support, not an overwhelming dose. So please, start with 1 or 2 pods. That is all you need. Finally, and this is the most important part, let's cover the method. This is the 60-second ritual itself. Take your 1 or 2 cardamom pods and place them in your mouth. Gently crack them open with your teeth. You don't need to grind them into a powder. Just break the outer shell to release the tiny, fragrant seeds inside. Now, begin to chew. Slowly. This is not a race. As you chew, the seeds will release their warm, slightly sweet, and wonderfully aromatic essential oils. I want you to hold the chewed pods and seeds in your mouth for a full minute. 60 seconds. Why is this so important? From a scientific standpoint, the tissues inside your mouth are incredibly absorbent. By holding these oils in your mouth for a full minute before you swallow, you are allowing for sublingual absorption. This means the calming compounds, like cineol, are absorbed directly into your bloodstream through the capillaries under your tongue. This sends a much faster and more direct calming signal to your brain and nervous system than simply swallowing them would. It's a small detail, but it makes a huge difference in how effectively your body receives the benefits. Now, I must emphasize the single most common mistake I see people make, the one thing that can completely undo all your good work. It's a habit that feels natural, but you must resist it. I repeat, do not drink a large glass of water immediately after chewing the cardamom. This is the #1 reason this remedy fails for most people. The mouth can feel a little dry or spicy, and the immediate impulse is to wash it down. But when you do that, you send a flood of liquid straight to your bladder, effectively canceling out the very benefit you're trying to achieve. You're waking up your kidneys and filling your bladder right before you're asking it to be calm and quiet for the next several hours. If you must take medication at night, or if your mouth feels very dry, you may have a few small sips of room temperature water. But that's it. I'll never forget a letter I received from a lovely woman named Margaret from Austin, Texas. She had tried everything, and she was on the verge of giving up. She tried the cardamom for 3 nights, and each night she washed it down with a glass of water, and each night she was still up 3 times. She was ready to quit. I encouraged her to try again, but this time, with no water. She was skeptical, but she did it. A week later, she wrote to me again. She said, "Doctor, it was the water. The moment I stopped washing it down, everything changed. By the 4th night, I only woke up once. Last night, for the first time in years, I slept a full 5 hours without interruption." That one small change, that one act of resisting an old habit, was her breakthrough. So please, remember Margaret's story. The ritual is simple: right time, right amount, right method, and almost no water. This isn't about forcing your body. It's about gently and wisely guiding it back to a state of peaceful rest. Alright, we've covered the ritual itself. Now, let's move into what I consider to be one of the most vital parts of our discussion today. This is section number 5. The 3 common mistakes and how to avoid them. I truly want you to succeed with this. There is nothing more disheartening than trying something with hope, only to have it fail because of a small, unseen error. So let's be very clear about the 3 pitfalls that can sabotage your efforts. Think of me as your guide, pointing out the rocks in the path so you can walk around them safely. The first and biggest mistake. We've already discussed it, but it is so critical that it bears repeating. It is drinking a large glass of water right after chewing the cardamom. I cannot overstate this. It's like carefully building a beautiful sandcastle right at the edge of the ocean, only to have a giant wave of your own making wash it all away. The cardamom sends a signal to your bladder to be calm and quiet. The large glass of water sends a signal to your kidneys to work overtime. These 2 messages are in direct opposition. The water will always win. Remember Margaret's story from Texas. Her success was hiding on the other side of that one simple change. So, please, burn this into your memory. A few small sips of medicine are fine. A full glass of water is not. This single act is the difference between frustration and success. The second common mistake is combining cardamom with the wrong kinds of evening foods. The cardamom is your ally, but you can't ask it to fight an uphill battle against poor dietary choices made late at night. What do I mean by this? I'm talking about eating salty or heavily spiced foods too close to bedtime. That handful of salty potato chips while watching TV, that dill pickle from the jar, or even a bowl of spicy chili might feel comforting, but they are working directly against your goal. Salty and spicy foods act as powerful thirst triggers. They make your body crave water, forcing you to drink more fluids than you otherwise would. This extra liquid, of course, ends up in your bladder, completely defeating the purpose of our ritual. You're pouring fuel on the very fire you're trying to put out. To allow the cardamom to do its best work, you need to set it up for success. Enjoy it after a lighter, blander evening meal. Think of things like a piece of baked fish, some steamed vegetables, a small portion of rice, or a simple bowl of oatmeal. These foods soothe your digestive system rather than inflaming it and don't create an artificial sense of thirst. Let your final meal of the day be one of peace and calm, not one that sends your body into overdrive. The third and final mistake is perhaps the most human of all. It is the mistake of expecting instant results. In our modern world, we're conditioned to want everything immediately. We take a pill, we expect the headache to be gone in 20 minutes. But your body is not a light switch that you can just flick on and off. Your body is more like a garden. It needs time, patience, and gentle, consistent care. For years, your bladder and your nervous system have been in a pattern of restlessness. They need time to relearn the rhythm of rest. Many people try this ritual for just a night or 2, and when they don't wake up feeling magically transformed, they give up and declare that it doesn't work. This is a tragedy. I think of a patient of mine, a wonderful woman named Carol from Ohio. She called my office after 3 days, sounding so disappointed. She said, "Doctor, I tried it, but nothing has changed. I'm still up twice a night." I asked her to do me a favor. I asked her to trust the process and to give it a full 10 days. She reluctantly agreed. On the 10th day, she called back, and her voice was completely different. It was bright and full of energy. She said, "You were right. On the 8th night, I only woke up once. And last night, I slept all the way through until my alarm went off. I haven't done that in 20 years." Her breakthrough was waiting for her just past the point where she was about to give up. So, this is my advice to you, as your doctor and your friend. I ask my patients to commit to trying this consistently for at least 10 days. Don't judge the results after 1 night or even 3. Give your body a fair chance to adapt, to heal, and to relearn. This next part is so important. If you promise me you'll be patient with yourself, that you'll give your body the grace of time, please comment "I promise" below. This is a commitment not to me, but to your own well-being. It's a declaration that you are worth the effort. Alright, we've navigated the common mistakes. Now, for our 6th section, let's talk about something incredibly empowering. Habits that help. Because while cardamom is a wonderful helper, a powerful tool in your toolkit, it works best when it's part of a team. Your body isn't a machine that responds to a single input. It's a complex, interconnected system. And when you support that system with a few other simple, intelligent habits, the results you see from the cardamom ritual can become even stronger and more consistent. Think of these habits as the supporting cast, allowing our star player, cardamom, to truly shine. There are 4 simple lifestyle tweaks I recommend to all my patients, and I want to share them with you today. First, let's start with your evening meal. What you eat for dinner has a profound impact on the quality of your sleep. Heavy, salty, or fried dinners, like a big steak with French fries or a plate of fried chicken, are very difficult for an older digestive system to process late at night. They sit in your stomach like a lead weight, creating indigestion and putting physical pressure on your bladder. Instead, I want you to begin thinking of your evening meal as a gentle transition toward rest. Choose a lighter dinner. Something simple, like a piece of baked fish or chicken, a small portion of rice, and some steamed vegetables like broccoli or carrots. A simple soup or a small bowl of lentils can also be wonderful. These meals are not only nutritious, but they also digest more easily, reducing that internal pressure and allowing the cardamom to focus on its calming work, rather than fighting against a digestive overload. This isn't about dieting. It's about eating smartly in the evening. Second, let's talk about how you sleep. Your sleeping position can make a surprising difference. Many people find that lying flat on their back, especially with a high pillow, can actually increase pressure on the bladder and sometimes even disrupt circulation. The position that many doctors and physical therapists, including myself, recommend is sleeping on your side. Specifically, on your left side. Why the left? This position uses gravity to its advantage, improving digestion by allowing waste to move more easily from the small intestine to the large intestine. It can also improve circulation back to the heart. And for our purposes, it takes a great deal of pressure off the abdomen and the bladder. A simple trick to make this even more comfortable is to place a small, soft pillow between your knees. This helps to align your hips and spine, reducing back stiffness in the morning. Many of my patients, from folks in California to those in the Carolinas, have told me that this one small change not only helped their nighttime urination but also dramatically reduced their morning back pain. Third, let's consider your bedroom environment. Your body is incredibly sensitive to temperature while you sleep. A bedroom that is too warm or stuffy can cause you to sweat, even if you don't notice it. This leads to dehydration, which can make you thirsty and can also trigger your kidneys to work harder during the night. The ideal temperature for sleep, according to sleep experts, is surprisingly cool. It's right around 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So, turn down the thermostat a little bit. Wear light, breathable cotton pajamas, and ensure there's good air circulation in the room, perhaps with a small fan. Keeping your body cool at night reduces a great deal of stress on your system. I've had patients in hot climates like Texas and Florida who reported that simply adjusting their air conditioning at night made the effects of the cardamom far more noticeable within just a week. And finally, number 4, consider a gentle morning walk. This might sound unrelated to nighttime urination, but it's directly connected. Here's why. During the day, especially if we sit for long periods, fluid can pool in our lower legs due to gravity. This is a very common issue called edema. Then, when you lie down flat in bed at night, all that accumulated fluid gets reabsorbed into your bloodstream and is sent to your kidneys to be processed. The result is a surge of urine production right when you want your body to be quiet. A simple, gentle 30-minute walk in the morning sun does wonders. It gets your circulation going, activates the muscles in your legs to act like a pump, and helps your body process and release that excess fluid much earlier in the day. By the time evening arrives, there's far less fluid waiting in the wings to flood your system. These 4 habits, a light meal, a left-side sleeping position, a cool room, and a morning walk, are not complicated. They are simple, free, and completely within your control. When you combine these supportive habits with your nightly cardamom ritual, you create a powerful synergy. You are sending a clear, consistent message to every part of your body. It is time to rest, to heal, and to find peace. As we come to the close of our time together today, I want you to think back to the beginning of this video. Remember Arthur? The wonderful 74-year-old grandfather I told you about, the one who sat in my office and confessed he hadn't slept for more than 3 hours straight in a decade. The man who felt his energy, his joy, and his connection to his family were all fading away in a fog of exhaustion. Today, Arthur is thriving. He has the energy to get down on the floor and build model airplanes with his grandkids. He's rejoined his weekly bowling league. But he told me, the best part, the absolute best part of it all, is the simple act of waking up in the morning feeling rested. Not robbed of his energy. Waking up feeling like himself again. His incredible journey back to health didn't start with an expensive new drug or a complicated medical procedure. It started with one small, green pod. It started with one simple, consistent choice to work with his body, not against it. Arthur's story holds the most powerful lesson I could ever hope to share with you. And it is this: you are not helpless. In a world that often makes us feel like aging is a battle we are destined to lose, I am here to tell you that is not true. The power to reclaim your health, your peace, and your vitality often lies not in the dramatic or the expensive, but in the simple, gentle choices that nature has already provided. It's about listening to your body's wisdom. It's about taking back control, one quiet night at a time. The journey to a better, more restful life is built on small, patient steps, just like the ones we've talked about today. We've explored the quiet changes in our aging bodies, the gentle science behind a humble spice, the exact ritual to make it work, and the supportive habits that can amplify its benefits. But knowledge is only powerful when we put it into action. So now, as we wrap up, I have one important question for you. What is the one commitment you are making to yourself this week after watching this video? It doesn't have to be a monumental change. It can be as simple as, I will try the cardamom ritual for 10 days. Or maybe, I will stop drinking fluids 3 hours before bed. Or perhaps, I will try sleeping on my left side. Whatever it is, please share your personal commitment in the comments below. Reading your commitments will inspire others in our community to take that first brave step right alongside you. Let's fill the comments with hope and action. And if you found real value and inspiration in our time together today, if this message resonated with you, please show your support by giving this video a like. It truly helps more people find this important information. To ensure you continue on this journey with us and never miss another video full of life-changing wisdom, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell. It's more than just subscribing. It's joining a community. A community of friends dedicated to navigating our golden years with strength, grace, and vitality. Together. Finally, I ask you to think of just one person in your life. A friend, a sibling, a spouse, a neighbor, who you know is struggling with restless nights. Please share this video with them. You never know, it might just be the gift of a good night's sleep that they've been praying for. Thank you so much for your time and your trust. Be well, stay wise, and please know that you are not alone on this journey. I'll see you in the next video.